Okay, guys, I wanted to have another chat with you guys today. I wanted to talk a little bit about anxiety because I think all of us deal with anxiousness, anxiety, sometimes to really significant amounts at different times. Unfortunately, with the way the world is now, anxiety is a continual factor for a lot of us. And I've got just a few little things that I've discovered to try and at least cope better, ease the anxiety a little, and I want to share them with you. I came to this place to do it because I thought, wow, it's a beautiful little area here. It's a little boat launch area on the river, and I was going to walk around here to give us a nice picturesque setting. And it's late April in upstate New York, so it was snowing up until just a couple moments ago, and the wind is whipping so bad the audio will just get destroyed. So we'll record this one in the car today, and I will come back here for a future one really soon because I want to show you around. But what I'm going to do, let's open the door. I'll take you guys around a little bit anyway. You can at least see the area. Now I don't think, let me see. No, I don't have a way to, because I'm using the front camera to switch that button. Okay, we're gonna get back in the car to talk, but here I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a look of the area. Over there is the broken bridge, something I really enjoy and find kind of cool. Easy to look at the side. Just wanted to give you a look at the area. It's really kind of a cool place, and I went by off quick, but back directly behind me here is the Belmont River. I'm come back here to actually record a video. Woo! And even the gimbal's like, fuck you. But when we come back here to record, I'll take you down closer to the river and everything. But let's get back to what we're talking about. Okay, anxiety. What I'm talking about today is when you're feeling anxiety, anxiousness about a specific incident or event upcoming or circumstances. We'll talk to about dealing with anxiety just in general, but that'll be in a separate video. What I'm talking about today is when you're anxious about something upcoming or something ongoing. Now, the first tip I can give you when you're feeling overwhelmed with something like that is the first thing you need to do is sit down with your thoughts collected in an area, where you're not distracted, and think it through logically. Just think about what it is that you're anxious about, what it is that's bothering you, and then apply as much logic as you can to it. Are you over exaggerating in your mind the seriousness of the issue? I'm not saying that's the case all the time, but what happens is with anxiety, because you're anxious about this, whatever it is, that stays on your mind so much that your mind starts playing those games with you where it just starts piling sometimes imagined information on top of what you're already dealing with. Imagine scenarios. Well, not only is this bad, what if this happens next? So applying logic to whatever it is that's making you anxious is not likely going to make you go, oh, okay, now I thought about it and I'm not anxious anymore. I was being, silly me. No, that if that happens for you, great, awesome. That wouldn't count on it. But what it does do is it gives you the opportunity to look at what it is that's torturing you and give an honest appraisal and see if maybe you've exaggerated it a little bit. In other words, don't make it any worse than it has to be. Have you added likelihoods that are probably not that likely? Are you giving it more power over your life than it's really worth? Again, that's not going to be a cure-all, but it's the place you need to start. And you'll find a lot of times it's human nature. A lot of times the anxiety breeds further anxiety, and you've made it a bigger mountain than it truly is. So that's the first thing. Get that under control, or get that in proper perspective. Now, once you've done that, and there are going to be plenty of cases where you haven't exaggerated at all. It could be something that's really troubling and really worth your anxiousness. So regardless, when you go to the next step is look beyond the anxious moment, scenario happening, whatever it is. In other words, Whenever that comes to pass, whatever is bothering you, whatever's making you anxious, when that comes to pass, what are you going to do in every possible scenario that follows? Okay? In other words, say you're anxious because you've got a medical diagnosis coming up. Okay? Sit down, carefully think about, these are all the options that I've been told are out there for me. In each case, what am I going to do? And present yourself a really, really solid plan of attack in every case. Think it through. It's like, okay, the A is worst case scenario. If that happens, I guess, what I'm going to have to do is and figure it out. Maybe B, C, and then D is the best case scenario. That's usually not too hard to figure out. What you're going to do is you're going to breathe a sigh of relief and be like, whew, goddamn, dodge the bullet there. But in every possible outcome, think through carefully what you are going to do given that outcome. The reason that's a great way to help tone down the anxiety a little bit is it takes away some of the unknown, in the respect that no matter what happens, you know what you're going to do next. It's not always, entirely comforting. You still could have a bad outcome on whatever it is that's making you anxious, whatever the situation is. But at least you have something to look forward to. You have a plan in place. And believe it or not, that is comforting. Another thing to look into is if it's an ongoing thing. If you're made anxious because of maybe familial situations, what can you do to either smooth them over or remove yourself from them? And now, I'm not telling you to turn your back on family. I'm not advising you to do anything except look carefully at the situation and make the alterations in your life that will suit you the best. Sometimes there are toxic people out there. There are people that are always just going to be bad news. Sometimes the toughest thing in the world is to come to that full realization and say, you know what, I just got to separate myself from this. Look at everything carefully. And again, don't overhype it in your mind. Just look at it for what it is. And if what you're going through is an ongoing situation, think carefully about, how can I ease this? And what am I willing to do to rid myself of this anxiety? Which leads us right into the next step, which is talk to people, but not just anybody. All of us have that person or small group of people that we really 100% trust. It doesn't have to be somebody even close to you. I have people reach out to me all the time just because of having a little bit of an online presence and being an old fart at a lot. So a lot of people just kind of see me as paternal or grand paternal because I'm really old. Hey, I'm anxious. You guys know that. I'm anxious to chat with you guys about anything if something's stressing you out, and give you whatever advice I can. That's why I make these types of videos. But find that person and give a good ear to what they have to say. It doesn't mean, even if it's me, if you come to me and you want some advice and I dole out whatever it is my best advice in that situation, it doesn't mean you have to take everything I say and just be a robot and do it. It means consider it. Maybe it'll just be a perspective you haven't thought of before. Whatever it is that's causing you this stress, just be upfront with people, or the people that are important to you and the people that you honestly 100% trust, and just tell them, hey, I'm having a tough time with this. Got any advice for me? Sometimes that's the simplest thing in the world. You don't have to tap dance around it. You don't have to feel bad because you're overwhelmed. Everybody gets that way sometimes. Just ask. Say, hey, you got any advice? What would you do in this situation? I gotta come down a little bit off this stress mountain I'm on. What would you say? A lot of times that'll help a lot. And then the final thing, and you're gonna hear me say this a lot, and this comes from all my years with hypnosis and learning what I have about the subconscious and how it works. It's not necessarily it's a form of self-hypnosis, but it's not going the full route of self-hypnotizing yourself. And this is for all forms of stress. Get yourself into a quiet situation where you're very comfortable, very relaxed in your bed, in a comfortable chair, whatever it may be, where you're alone, can be alone with your own thoughts. Just lay back, Get nice and, as I said, entirely relaxed. Take a few deep breaths and concentrate on deep breaths, man. It sounds really simple, but I'm telling you, they really are kind of cleansing. They really do open things up for you to be able to have a clear mind. Take a few good deep breaths. See the train? We never get far away from the train. A few deep breaths. And when you close your eyes, I want you to look at that darkness that you see as nothing, but then something. In the respect that it's nothing because I don't want anything to be interjected into that scene for you. Nothing that stresses you out, nothing that you're thinking about on a day-to-day basis, just blankness. But then look at that darkness and see that darkness as like an empty palette where anything can be created within this world. Okay? This is where you can go and create, because you can. Your subconscious will let you do that. And in that space, on that palette, just imagine whatever it is that you want to imagine, and it doesn't matter how crazy it is. Want to fly? Picture yourself flying. Want to be a Super Saiyan? Go for it. Picture yourself hardcore, like you're writing that story in your mind on that blank palette. It really, really works. Just be someplace comfortable. It doesn't matter how outlandish you may think this fantasy that you have is. Live it. You'll be surprised how real you can make it. And what that does is it takes you away. It just takes you away from that stress, that anxiety for a little while. And it does it really effectively. I do all kinds of wacky things with that all the time. I just find it very relaxing. Hell, I've been a major league ball player. I was good too. In that fantasy, man, I was kicking some ass. I'll admit, the Super Saiyan thing didn't come up just randomly. I may have Goku'd it up a little bit here or there. You can do anything. You can be anything. Just get that nice relaxation. Go into what they call your mind's eye. Go into that world that is yours to create, and create whatever you want. And enjoy it, and go into it balls out, full in deep, and really enjoy it, and just get away for a while. So that's what I got for today. That's how I deal with anxiety and anxiousness. Hopefully any of this helps you guys a little bit, but I'm going to make more and more videos like this. Hopefully you guys enjoy them. Again, I'll tell you over and over, I don't want to give the wrong impression. I don't claim to have all the answers. I don't even claim to know all the questions. All I can do is share the things that I've learned from being alive for a long time. That's it. But if anything I've learned helps one of you guys out, that's great. And I'm happy to do it, and I'm honored by it when it works. That's today's session. Next time we come out here, hopefully we can get out of the goddamn car. Upstate New York. What a piece of shit. That makes me anxious.